Hi y'all, I'm Miss Stacy. Welcome to Stacy's Homestead, and today we are canning up beef bone broth using Tattler lids. Now, I already did my bone broth and I cook that any recipe you want. You just put all your bones in the pot, season it how you want, put whatever you want in it, and then strain it out. I leave my bones in. I strained everything, and let's show you. I leave my bones in to the last possible second for at least 3 days because I want to, second day I strain everything. And then the third day I just leave the bones in because I want them to get really soft, and when you cook bones for 3 days they just crumble into bone meal. And that's what I feed my animals. So they stay solid enough for you to take them out, but then they just break apart so easily, and the dogs love it. Anyways, besides that, that's just how you do that, okay? And so in my roaster, I cook it about 300 degrees for 3 days. And then I top it, it's gonna steam, of course, overnight, and then you just top it up with water every day. And there you go, and then you just season it to taste. And now, I canned it up. I did one round already. I'm doing it backwards. I'm showing you the after results from my first round, and then we're going to do another round. So I like to do Tattler lids on my first round and second round, and then on my third round I'll do tins, flats, because they pretty much will seal no matter what. Okay, the Tattlers can be a little finicky, and I might have a couple here and there that won't seal, and I just recan it, you know, along with the rest of my stuff I still have to can. Anyhow, so I'll bring it in and I'll show you the results of the first canning session, and you can them for any broth, even if it has little pieces of meat in it. Like, you can still have little pieces of meat in it. It has to be like the majority is liquid, okay? But this is 25 minutes for a quart, 20 minutes for pints. Gotcha? Okay. Gotcha. Got it. Alright, so we took these out last night, and we're going to take the rings off. Now, after you process, you let them sit undisturbed for about 24 to 48 hours. I do 24 hours, and I find that's good enough. Okay, so we're going to take the rings off and see what we got here. Now, I'm thinking this one didn't seal. And the reason why I'm guessing that is because the color is a lot darker. And I noticed, oops, here. The color is a lot darker. So this one, the color is darker than this one. I'm guessing here. And I noticed that when things don't seal, everything's darker. Like the air gets to it, makes it darker. So we'll see. That's my guess. And the lid doesn't look so concaved on this one. But, so, let's start opening them. Okay, I got one. And then to test it, we're going to go like that. And that's a good seal. We'll wash that one up. So one good seal here. Wash that one up. This looks like it's sealed. The color's nice and light. The lid looks concaved. Alright, yep, that's a good seal. Very good seal. Gonna wash that one up. You want to wash it up because there's always a tiny bit of siphoning somewhere, and you'll have like, see, I don't strain oil out. I leave the fat on because it's good stuff. I always leave fat in my stuff. Don't worry about it. It doesn't go bad, okay? It gives it flavor and it's good for you. That's my opinion, the flavor and good for you. But yeah, you can can stuff with fat in it. Don't worry about straining it. Alright, so let's do this next one. The color looks light. The lid looks concaved. Let's lift it, and yeah, it's really good. Good seal. We're going to wash this one up. Give it a good wash. All right. This one, we're saving the one I don't think sealed for last. Color's nice and light. Let's see. Looked it up. Good seal. Very good seal. I love Tattler lids on things that have acid in it too. Like, it's really, really good because they don't rust. This doesn't have acid in it, but I'm just saying about Tattlers. So, all right. So this one, I don't know. These two have kind of a darker color. Both of these. This one looks convex. This one looks concave. This is the one I don't think sealed. So let's do this one. The color is just pretty dark, but we'll see. It might just be. See, there's a droplet of fluid in the center. It helps me. You can see the shadow. Sometimes it helps me tell if it's concaved. So there's usually like a droplet of liquid in the middle. All right. All right. That one's sealed. I mean, I want to make sure, bounce it around, you know. Give it a good bounce. Yeah, that's sealed. All right, so here's this one. Here's this one. The one I don't think sealed. It's a darker color. Sometimes I guess that didn't matter in this case. But every other one is really light. It could be that it was in a place where it got cooked more, you know. But usually in my experience, when they don't seal, the color is usually a little bit different than the rest. All right, so let's open it. Let's see. Yeah, it didn't seal. Yeah, it just popped right off. So we're going to recan this. Let's figure out why it didn't seal, okay? Let's open this up without disturbing too much. Let's see. It looks like some of it splashed under the rim. The rim is a little wet here. So we got some grease splashed onto this in some areas. It's the only thing I can tell. I'm feeling the edges for any, because remember these Tattler lids might have a little plastic piece you got to cut off. That would interfere. I cut that off. That wouldn't be the case. I think this one just got a little bit underneath on the rubber gasket here. And then check the rim. You want to check the rim for any glass cracks or anything. It just maybe have a little bit of grease on it too. So, yeah, that's why I like to can Tattlers first round and use flats on the last round. All right, so we're gonna recan this one up. I'm just gonna wash the rim really, really good with vinegar. Keep it in the jar. Top it off a little bit, and then recan it. I'll use a 10 flat on this one just to be on the safe side. We got one fail out of all the Tattlers, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successful seals. And then I reuse lids, and I try to reuse ones that are really good condition. Mostly I try to reuse all the ones I use for water bath, because those seem to be in better condition. But yeah, this one I reused, and it's got a good seal. So that one, always throw a used lid here and there. So that's good. And we're gonna wash these up real fast with some nice warm soapy water and get them ready to be put away. Okay. So when you prepare to can, especially with Tattlers, you want to eliminate any possibility for failures. So you're going to make sure your sink is super, super clean, bleached, disinfected. Okay. I have a very clean rag I got out. Wipe it. Make sure your rag's really, really clean. A little start off for success. Now you don't have to boil your, like in the old days, you don't have to boil your jars to disinfect, because the canning process does that, okay? The only time you want to really sanitize your jars like that, boiling them and sanitizing them, is for when you're open kettling. That's what I do. But it's kind of pointless when you're just canning them for over 10 minutes because it eliminates all germs. So it already disinfects it for you, sanitizes it for you, the whole jar and everything. So I like to do is just make sure that I put them away clean, but I just rinse them really good. And sometimes I don't. Sometimes they're just put away and I just wipe the rims, you know. But when I'm doing tattlers, I want to make sure they're dust free and rinsed real well too. So. Sure you get them super clean. I didn't do this one. And I'm going to go ahead and put this one in a bowl of, or cup with hot soapy water. A little cup with hot soapy water. Just start getting that one cleaned up. So what I do with these, I keep a nice, when I open these to use for food, right, I just have a nice bowl of hot soapy water. I plop them in until I'm ready to wash them up, as you know, when I open them to eat with. Alright, so these are nice, and we're going to put these away. They're nice and clean. We're going to label them. I find that I used to do wax pencil, horrible. I used to do labels, horrible. Now I just do blue tape, blue painter's tape. Easy peasy, put it on the top and all good. Alright, I got my blue labels on everything with my painter's tape, and we're going to put them away. Rotate my jars here, make sure to rotate. I have 3 old jars, so I gotta put the newest one behind it. There we go. There. Alright, so to start off with, when I'm doing a batch, especially with tattlers, I make sure I clean my lids and gaskets with hot soapy water. Okay, so I have hot soapy water here. I've been soaking them in just for a little bit. We're gonna wash them with a nice rag. I have a video on how to do that. Wash it really good with a rag. And even if you washed them before, you want to do it again, because any chance of failure, like these suckers are finicky. You want to eliminate every possibility. Dust, tiny bit of grease left, a little bit of dishwashing soap, or who knows. I have 2 stainless steel bowls. I don't use them for anything else except for canning. So there's no chance of any grease or anything being in them. Alright, so these are nice and clean. I'm going to start the water for them, and I'm going to put boil water, okay? I love this thing. It boils water real fast. Okay, now, because I'm putting hot broth in jars, I don't want to put cold jar and then hot broth in a cold jar. You run the risk of cracking, so breaking your jars. So what I'm going to do, and you don't have to boil your jars or anything because I don't need to do that. I'm going to just run hot water and put a little bit of hot water in it. That's all. Just a little bit of kitchen sink hot water in each one, just to help start the They don't have to be hot, 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 hot. They just have to be warmed up and ready to rock and roll. So I just put hot water on the sink in each one of them. And then when I'm ready to fill them, I dump the hot water out. I don't even do it halfway, I just do a little bit. Just enough to keep it. And then that helps you clean the rims and everything too. Make sure those rims are clean. Any dust or anything. Because I'm telling you, the littlest things, if your jars don't seal, you're going to wonder, what did I do? So now you're going to eliminate any possibility of seal failure. Okay? Alright. And that's it. Alright, so let's bring these over here and we'll get going on jarring these up. Alright, so here's my bone broth. My bone broth. So we're gonna get those jars filled with delicious homemade broth. Okay, so let's get our ladle. And it's about 4 scoops of this ladle, I find, from my jar here. 1. See it right there? 2. 3. 4. And you want to leave, especially with Tattlers, a 1-inch headspace. It's super important. You don't go. This has a nice little window. You don't go over that. You can go a little under, but not over. So you want to go just at that 1-inch headspace, and it's the first ring at the bottom, just under the first ring at the bottom, okay? Okay. So the jar's really hot now. And we're going to put this on the next one. And I'm going to put a little spoonful of broth in here just to keep it warm on this next jar while I handle the rest of my business here. Alright, so we're starting to get those going here, right? Before you do anything, you always want to just fill your canner up right away with your water so you don't forget. And in my canner, I have 3 quarts of water in my Mirro canner, okay? So, because if you don't put water in that canner and you forget, you're going to run it dry and it's going to break. It'll warp and you can never use it again. So, first thing first, always, when you put it on your stove, make sure you put that water in right away. Just make it a rule. So I'm going to get this heated up, this water in here, heated up. Because the rule is hot jars, hot canner, right? Cold jars, cold canner. Warm jars, warm canner. No thermal shock going to happen here. Okay. So got that going. Got my hot water for my rings going. Let's get these. Okay, so I'm going to put a splash of vinegar in here. And I also will use this hot water in here to help clean the rims because it has vinegar in it. Okay, just keep those gaskets clean of anything. And I'm going to take my used one out because I don't want the vinegar sitting on that. Okay, so while we're waiting on that water to boil, this is the one that did not seal. Evaporation has occurred. I'm going to just put a little bit more in. Okay, we're going to just put a little bit more in here just to top it off. We'll get just under the rim. There we go. And we're gonna make sure on this one, we're gonna go ahead and put our used tin on it. Let's clean the rims with these real fast. We'll use some vinegar. I use little strips at a time. Hot water, vinegar, or both. Dip my vinegar in here, and we're gonna run it really good around the rim of this one that did not seal. Really, really good. It's okay if the vinegar gets in your broth. It gives flavor. You won't even taste it. All right, really, really good. Really good. And then I'm gonna take a little dry piece and just go make sure I don't feel any grease on there. I want good contact with that gasket. All right, let's do it again one more time. One more time. Okay, that's good. Now let's go ahead and clean the other one we just did. And then get these prepped for the lids. Okay. Now my water's boiling about. I'm gonna go ahead and start filling up the other ones. These two are clean. Start filling up each one of these. Well, our lids are soaking. Now a lot of times I don't bother with straining before I do this. I'll put a strainer right in here and just strain it. But I did it this time because we were using the broth for some soup. See, I would use the strainer and just put it in here and strain it as I feel it. Saves a lot of time. Alright, so we got our hot boiling water and we're just going to put it in our bowl here, and I just splashed on myself. There we go. That wasn't a bright idea. Stacy's bright idea is burn yourself with hot boiling water. Alright, it was only a splash. Okay, so anyways, put your boiling water. I like to just fill it all the way up. I use tongs because a wand will not work with flats. You need tongs. So, alright. Now, you want to make sure that your gaskets are single layered because sometimes those suckers can stick together. And make sure, mine have lines on both sides, tracks on both sides. But you want the most obvious track side facing opposite. The impressions facing the opposite way, so you don't have cross tracking, but these have been used quite a bit. So that's some advice. Just make sure the lines and stuff are facing the other direction, and then put them in here to soak. So, all right, let's continue filling up our jar here. Man, that's smart. It's a little hot boiling water. Do you know what I have for that? I have, let me get something for that. Alright guys, really fast I had to get something for this. See, it's turning red a little bit. So what I have is a Valerian Tincture I made in 2020. And this is really good for burns. And so that's what I'm going to put on. Just open it up and get a little bit of Valerian on there. It's sealed because it's been in the cabinet for so long. Alright. Just put a dab of Valerian. It's a tincture made with vodka. Oh, it feels really, really good. It feels so good. Oh, it really feels really well. A Valerian tincture extract I did. Oh, That really helps. Oh my gosh. It's very, very helpful. Valerian, it'll turn your extract red. So this is like a deep red extract. Oh my gosh, that's wonderful. Wonderful. I haven't really tried it. I made it just specifically for burns and cuts and stuff. That's just so soothing. Okay, let's get back to... I have a little bit of... I made it with glycerin and vodka. That's nice stuff. Good stuff. I haven't even strained it. It's just been steeping in the root, valerian roots and herbs since 2020, 2 years, 3/15/20. See? Tinctures, I love them. All right, I'm gonna have to make more of that. Oh my goodness, it's so good. Just like feeling so much better. I can't, all right. Anyways, let's get back. That's like miracle. It's like burn cream. Okay. So our stuff's been steeping long enough. You only need to steep it for about a few minutes to get it to take here. We'll wipe our rims. Now let's put our lids on. We're going to put a used lid, rinse it off in the water, just do a quick rinse on this one that did not seal. Okay, and you want to make sure, like rusted things are fine on tins. If you're doing it with tins, you can have a little rust on it, but not with flats. It won't, it'll interfere. All right, my son just called. I hear my husband talking to him, so I'm gonna have to can this up off video and talk to my son. Just put that in. Well, actually, I'll show you really fast before he comes and gets me. Put that on. Center it. Make sure you have no rusty lid ring. Put it right here. And so I do about 3 turns. Then once it turns by itself, you're going to grab it. It's hot though. Let me get a minute. You're going to grab it like that and then just do a slight tightening. Just slight. Okay? Just finger tight, just a little. I'll do one more, show you one more, and then I'll do the rest. Alright, make sure it's one gasket, put it on, center it. Ready? 1, 2. 1, 2. That one's not popping on real good. There we go. There. Ready? 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And then a slight turn. Just until you feel that little resistant. Don't force it past the resistance. Okay? And that's it. Put these in. All right, that's it. Now my Mirro canner holds 7 quarts, okay? So we have 7. Now, I did get an All-American, the one that you can do, I forget the size, you can do double stacks, right, on it. I got that for Christmas, and I haven't opened it yet. I just haven't had the time, and I really didn't want to, you know, you get nervous about using a new canner, and I didn't really want to sit there and fiddle with a new canner and mess up my broth. I think I'll try beans on that because beans are, something happened. I don't risk losing beans. I have, you know, a bunch of dried beans. It's easy to replace those. But the broth, I can't. Beef is so expensive. I don't want to risk losing my beef broth or anything. So that's why I'm not using the Mirro yet. I mean the All-American yet. I'm a little nervous about it. Because I've always for years used a Mirro. And that other one that my grandma had. I forget what it was called. When she passed away, my family sold it at a yard sale, and I didn't realize. What was it? You know, the other main brand. I forget. You know what I'm talking about. All right, so I got. I need a couple more. I'm going to use a used lid on this one. Okay, so we'll do our last two with brand new ones. I like to diversify, you know, don't put all your eggs in one basket kind of thing. My Tattler lids, though, they hold up really, really, really well. I have Sloppy Joe mix with fat and everything that's 7 years old. Just as an experiment with the Tattler lids, still holding really good. I mean, I have a lot of Tattler lids that are on the shelf that are 4 years old, 5 years old. So they hold really, really well. And like I said, you don't have to worry about the acid. I'm going to put them in hot water just for a sec. I always put my flats in hot water. I don't care what the manufacturer says. It works for me. Just let it get hot. Anyways, I forgot what I was saying. So, that's what I do. I don't know what I was saying. Oh, the manufacturer. I don't care what they say about put them in hot water. That's what I do. Do a couple new ones here. I don't have my wand. Where'd my wand go? You don't have to boil them. I don't boil my flats, but I do put them in hot water. Hot water. Okay, so we're going to get these going. We're going to make sure we vent our canner for 10 minutes. Oh, I'm one too many. I'm one too many. I forgot about the one I had to redo. Oh well, I'll save it for the next round. Alright, we're going to put the lid on here. Make sure your gasket's clean and washed and ready to rock and roll. The kickback valve clear. Put it on. Vent for steady stream of steam. Like a choo-choo train for 10 minutes. Then put this on. And once it starts jiggling, going Mirro spins. This one is going to spin round and round. I'll show you in action. Spin, spin, spin. Every few seconds. Spin, spin. And once it starts the spinning action, that's when you start your time. So we're going to clean this because these suckers, the Mirro, it has a spring in it that likes to get stuck and won't spin if you don't clean it and grease it. So we're going to clean it real good with warm water and put a little olive oil in it. So I'll just stick it in. You don't get that yuckies out of there, it'll get stuck on you. I have a video on how to do this, so just you push your paper towel into the groove. There's already yuckies. Got this all cleaned up and ready to rock and roll. We just got to put a little bit of oil on it now. Cleaned it with hot vinegar water. Get a little bit of oil in the grooves. The grooves have a spring action, and the spring needs to spin in those grooves, and it gets buildup and it stops it from spinning. So put a little oil in those grooves to help it out, keep it clean. And I oil the petcock as well just to do it. Help keep that clean for the thing to spin. There. Alright. And then once your steady stream of steam vents for 10 minutes, pop this on. And then wait for it to start rocking and rolling and start your timer. Alright, I'll show you what it looks like. Because someone said, can you do a video on what it looks like? I'll show you what it looks like. Okay? Alright, it's getting ready to go. See? Now I start my timer. Now, this is how it spins. Every few seconds, it's going to do this. So I need to turn my heat down a little because you don't want to have it spinning the whole time. See? Make it a little lower. For my altitude, it's 10 pounds of pressure. It just depends on your altitude, okay? The recipe books will say 10 pounds of pressure because if you read the fine print, it's using the most common altitude. In the fine print of all ball books, all recipes, it'll say 10 pounds of pressure is used as an example, but you have to adjust it based on your altitude, and it gives you a chart. So if you have a different altitude, look up your altitude and it'll tell you how much pounds the weight put on. I remember the other canner is called a Presto. So 25 minutes and then we'll take them out. Alrighty guys, so it's all done. We're going to take them out. It's been sitting, I let mine cool down for a very, very long time. It's been about 30 minutes cooling, and then I took the vent off another 10 minutes, and then I'll crack it and see. Yeah. So got a little steam coming out. Sometimes I wait even longer, but that's roughly always about 30 to 40 minutes. Take my time, you know, all that hard work. Don't want to mess up. Alright, so take these out. Looks really good. See, we're going to take them all out. And let me show you where they're at. There we go. Alright, let's take them all out. Be careful. If you hear any hissing or anything, don't touch it. Because you don't want it exploding in your face. Carefully take them out. Don't tip it. Alright, and then with these, you're going to have to tighten them pretty much right away. So let's tighten the Tattlers down as tight as you can. Tight as you can. Help with that seal. Okay. Now I got one more Tattler. And tighten that one down. These all look really good. The headspace looks good. Just tighten it down and wait. Just wait for it. And here's my used one, my used lid, the one that didn't seal before. Here's another used lid. I usually try to set it down on a towel or cutting board to prevent contact with the counter. My bad. That way it doesn't get thermal shock. I mean, it never really happens to me so far, knock on wood. The water looks really clear. I don't see any siphoning. That's good. So there we go. I should start sealing, and then tomorrow I'll know which ones. I mean, the Tattler is already sealing. I could tell because they go from flat to concaved, right? So I already see droplets. It's already pulling it in. So yeah, those are doing good, and they're still boiling in the jars too. So that's a good indication. Not always though, but yeah. And that's how you can beef broth, beef bone broth using Tattler lids. Use lids. I always keep my cabinets open. But there you have it. We'll just talk to you later. Hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye.